Welcome back, mamas. If you loved part one, get ready because the conversation doesn't stop here. In this second part of Mommy is Thriving, we dive deeper into the real stories, the laughs, and the lessons every mom needs to hear. From the mess of motherhood to the magic in it all, this is your space, your moment, and your reminder that you are never alone on this journey. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's continue this heart-to-heart that will leave you feeling inspired, empowered, and oh so seen. Let's jump in. See you soon, mama.
Oh, it is definitely not easy. I always say it's the hardest job I have, but also the most
All
rewarding.
times, right? And then there's times where you're like,
It's
right. And you're like, I
and it's ever
wish
changing.
that my child would be like, good job, mommy. That was awesome. Right. Like, no, like you sometimes get it at work, right? Where like it's like, good job, Sam. That was a great pitch you just gave. That was a great convo you just had. That was a great post you just did. Look at all these sales. And then, at home it not so much. But every once in a while, you get that hug or that snuggle or that kiss, and you're like, ah, worth every minute, right? Like, uh-huh, exactly, and, like, I can think
Yeah, I'm like, there's a reason we don't remember birth.
yes, right?
The tough part
Mm-mm,
of having
mm-mm,
them come into
no,
this world. Yeah,
yeah, mhm,
it's a blur.
they do that on purpose, right? So then we do it again, and then we're like, "Darn it, this infant
Mhm,
life is not
mhm.
easy."
Yeah.
Um, no, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yeah.
For the record, neither is 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yep,
5,
yep.
or 6. Just say it. Just say it. And that's where I am. I don't know when it gets easier, but I hear intimations of it getting easier potentially. I don't know. It's different. It's different.
I don't know if it's easier. It never gets easier. It's
Right.
just different challenges, right? And if we can enjoy the good parts along the way, because there are some things that I look back and go, "Oh my gosh, I really miss
Mm.
that baby smell," or remember when they didn't move around everywhere
Remember
and you
when
could
they
just
were
leave them in one
potatoes?
place and they
Yes,
didn't
yes. I
go
loved when they
anywhere?
were in the potato stage. That's what I call that newborn stage where they don't do anything yet. They're literally
Yeah,
potatoes. Like they're just sack of potatoes that you just lug around with
yeah.
you places. And I mean, I miss the potato. Like I really truly do. I got to meet my nephew a couple weekends ago, and he's now like a little like right about 2 months old, and potato stage, right? Like not moving yet, not rolling. Like he's just a potato, but he's like a lovely potato. And I'm like, "Oh, you look so much like your sister." Like, it's like, I'm like, "I love" right, sister, but when your
Sister
sister was a
potato.
potato, now not so much, but, like, when she was this, that's what you look like, and they're yummy, and they just snuggle on you, and, my sister-in-law was like, "Oh my god, you got him to eat a bottle. How'd you do that?" Like, "I don't know, I'm not you." Like it's someone new. It's like, you're like, "Yes, well, I did that twice, so I that's clearly why he ate for me." No, mm-mm, I'm not really sure why, but
Yeah.
just did.
Yeah, you know yeah. Yeah, you just it
Right.
just has to be someone else or, you just never know, and I think you said this earlier, like, every parent is different, every child is different. You could have the same parents and the children are just very different. You could do the same things parenting and they turn out different. Like, parenting is just fun and
Yeah, I was
the
gonna
most
say
challenging thing
wild,
in the
wild.
world.
Parenting is wild. Being a parent is the
Yeah.
strangest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, I feel like, I've done lots of things in my life. I went uh, really far for school. I'm from Jersey. I went to Florida for school by myself. Like, I didn't know anyone and I just kind of did it. And, I traveled internationally. But parenting, that is just the wildest experience because it's like these tiny humans, every once in a while, they annoy you until you're to your core. But then you're like, I made you. I made you. And you know what? yeah, there's a part of me in there, and that is why it's bugging me as much as it is bugging me, right? Because there's a part of that. No, no, that's not your
Oh,
father. That is me. And yeah, I feel bad for what I'm. Yes,
oh, the little
yes, mirror.
mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
They're little
Mm-hmm.
mirrors.
And like,
Mhm.
you know,
And when they use some of the words that I use
oh,
against me, I'm
oh,
like, "Oh, child, well done, but I'm trying not to smile," or like, "You're still
like,
in trouble, but
yeah, right. Like
g
you
well
don't want
done,
to
well done."
laugh, but in the moment, you're like, oh man, you are being. Yes. Yes. Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
I'm like, "You are payback wrapped up in the cutest little tiny thing that I've ever seen," but payback, let me tell you, I don't even know what I think that my mom, like, I always say, like, my mom sprinkles a little bit of sass on my daughter every day from heaven, like, she's just, "You need a little extra sass to just check you today, Sam, you really do." Like, "Thanks, mom. Thanks. Didn't know I needed it, but thank you," because really, let me tell you, my daughter is me exaggerated, emphasized, underlined, bold font, type 72 font. Like, really, that is the mirror is not so tiny with that one, okay? Mhm. 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 Love her. Love her so much. When she watches these when she is a grown up and these are still on the internet because the internet things don't go away, she's going to say, "Oh, thanks mom for the years of therapy that I needed." Right?
Stays
Like, it is what it is. Hopefully she doesn't have the generation.
It is what it is, and you know what?
Mm.
You know, we all have our strengths, right? And if we can use our personalities, what make us us, and use them for good, I think that is where we all thrive and grow stronger together because I am not going to be her. I am not going to be the boldest, sassiest, most outspoken person in the world, and that's okay. That's okay. Maybe she's going to be
That's it. She's
first
either
female
going
president.
to,
You never
be
know.
dictator of a third world country or president. One or the other, I'm not sure. Up into interpretation, I love you, win-win. I really, truly do, but, like, I'm really just not sure. Like, pretty sure she started a mutiny in her class, last year as a nursery student. Yep, mhm. I think her teacher did say, that she needed to take a break during lunch because it was a lot. Mhm, mhm, yep, yeah, that's my kid. That's my daughter, let me tell you. Ay, yes, but seasons of change, right? I am sure that I will miss this season, when I am out of it and she doesn't wanna talk to me at all. I will 100% miss the days of the "Mommy, stop. Mommy, stop. Let me tell you." "Okay, Winnie. Uh-huh." Yep, reminder, she's not even 4. Okay. Mhm. "Mommy, stop. Let me tell you." "Oh, uh-huh." Mhm,
The
mhm.
things
I'm like,
kids pick up. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? The not
I
talking to me
refuse. I
kids,
refuse.
those
I
aren't
will
gonna be
not let
mine,
them.
so,
There will be no
yeah.
locks on any doors. I don't care. I will come into that room and I will sit with on your bed until you talk to me because, yeah, no. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I mean, I was never really that way where I, like, stormed into my room and, like, closed the door because I was, like, mad about something, so I, like however, my kids have already started doing that, but I'm gonna just go with that's just, like, a little kid thing, and maybe that, like, won't like, maybe they're getting it out of their systems now that they can close their door and sit with their back against the door because 'cause they're mad. Mhm, mhm, yeah. Characters, Amy, characters, let me tell you. Uh-huh, we're building.
Characters. You know what? Sometimes I see Mhm. Sometimes I see kids that, are more like your child, and I'm like, my kids can learn to be a lot more, like, outspoken and stand up for themselves. So,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm. Sides 2 sides
there's
to a coin,
both
right?
sides, both sides.
Right. I would
And the
like that
happy
as
medium,
well. When you
can we
figure
find
out
that?
how to get there, let me know because I will 100% take it. I will 100% take it. I think that, like, I it's funny because there's so many things that like my parents, so I'm an only, right? So I'm an only child and prefacing it with, and I'm an only child and now I'm raising two children. And it's very interesting because there was so much sibling dynamics that I didn't understand being an only. And that was, I think, like now that my children have a relationship together and like enjoy each other's company sometimes, like there's so many things that like my husband and my sister-in-law, like at times, like when we'd have family gatherings, like they would just be snarky to each other and I like took it offensively and I didn't understand it because that was not my wheelhouse, like that was not my world. I didn't understand. I just thought they were like being rude to each other and I was like, you guys aren't really nice to each other. And he was like, no, 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 it's siblings. And now I'm like, oh, it's siblings. Okay. Mhm. Mhm. I
Yep. My boys play really well together, but they
I
also
think, and
fight really well
that's one of those
together.
things I really
So,
didn't get it.
mhm.
Like, and I think that, like, honestly, there should be a class for only children because, we just don't understand the sibling dynamics. You don't because, like, you just think that, like, I don't know. I really didn't get it until like I was thrown into it and then I was like, "Oh, it makes a lot more sense now." And now like we're all like in a better relationship, like my sister-in-law, like she's a mom of two now and my husband has a much better relationship with her and I have a much better relationship with her because we go through a lot of the same things. But it's so interesting, like it's just different seasons of life that make you change and grow. And, you and I have definitely beelined in our conversation, but I'll bring it back for a sec, um, uh, you know, um, something that we talk about a lot, you and I, like are changes and living against those changes and not embracing the changes of the seasons and what are some ways that you find to kind of course correct when we're not aligning with those seasons of change? Like, how do you kind of deal with those ebbs and flows? And how do you kind of embrace the change, I would say? Because I feel like you've had a lot of that, right? You moved from Silicon Valley to San Diego with a, you know, a, don't wanna say a hope and a prayer because it wasn't that, but you know what I mean? Like, you were kind of just like, "Okay, this is gonna be a new world, and this is what I'm doing," and then you kinda pivoted and so talk to me a little bit about that, the course correction.
I mean, I think there's also over the course of these things, I have learned to be preventive about these crashes that might happen, right? Because we want to prevent that. If I can prevent anybody from crashing and burning and hitting that super overwhelm, burnt out wall, I feel like I've done something right. So, we're going to talk about like seasonal things and we need to be able to talk to the support systems that we have and hopefully everybody has some sort of support system whether it's one person or someone hopefully but that's also why I created the community that I did because not everybody does and I realized that I was very fortunate to have these support systems around me right and my husband is very supportive in like right now it is summit time which means it's busy and then when work got busy I was like oh my gosh what did I sign myself up for but you mentioned this earlier where you said you asked your friend for help. And I think so many of us feel like asking for help is a weakness or a crutch or all these things. But I actually think it's a strength to be able to say, okay, this is what I am good at. This is what I am going to do and release the other stuff. And when we say release, like actually release and let the other people that are doing it do the thing, instead of micromanaging the thing that you asked them to do. Because there are going to be such ups and downs of busy times in our lives where we just cannot take anymore and we want to go to that, like we want to take our kid to their practice, but we just can't. And it's okay. We have to give ourselves grace. You mentioned this earlier. We have to give ourselves grace if we can talk to ourselves like you would to our best friend and give them the same advice because we are our harshest critics, right? I think we would say something very, very different than the way that we beat ourselves up usually. So if you are going through a really rough time of busy and overwhelm, let someone help you. take a deep breath, take a step back and say, okay, what are the things that I really want to do? Where do I want to see myself? What are the things that I need to say no to? Because I don't know if we're the same in this, but I always want to say yes. If someone says, "Hey, can you help me with this thing?" or "Can you take on this volunteer thing?" or whatever, I want to say yes to people, but we can't say yes to everything, and we have to figure out what is truly important and let the other things go. Let other people do it. Hope that people step up and that we're surrounding ourselves with
Oh,
people
that's
that
so
do step
important,
up.
that's so important, but you're so right, there is a power in saying no. Besides from the power in saying yes, there is a power in saying no, and, like, even if it's just you were invited to 4 birthday parties this weekend and you'd like to go to every single one, but, like, you actually physically can't, you gotta say no, like, every once in a while, and, like, I have a girlfriend that always says yes to every single birthday party, and I have started to not be the person that says yes to every single birthday party because mama can't. Um, but, it's hard because you get the guilt, right? You get the mommy guilt, but sometimes you just have to, you know?
Mhm.
So talk to me a little bit, of asking for help and those
Yeah.
skills and, how do you enable your children to have those skills too, right? Like we talk a lot
Mhm.
about the giving our children life skills, right? And not just for our benefit, like for their benefit, but for our benefit too, right? Preventing mommy burnout, mommy sanity
Huge.
is
Mhm.
so important. What are some of those skills that you make sure to provide for your children or help them create themselves so that they can start, you know, integrating it now into their lives so they're not struggling as we do as parents, what are some of those things that and what are those conversations that you have with your children to kind of instill those skills into them?
Yeah. So there's tangible skills, but there's also like just social or, like learned skills that I'll talk about. But cooking is a huge one. I think that's one that we've talked about many times. But my kids cook a meal for us during the week, and that is huge. And people are like, they're 9 and 11. What, can they cook? And we've started pretty early in giving them knife skills. And they've like baked and cooked with me for a long time and my mom and all that kind of stuff. So I do feel like they have a step up in that from other kids on average their age. But anybody can start, right? Even toddlers can measure things. We do have to be patient in how we teach them. But if we can teach them when we're not busy, we gotta invest in our kids, but they can do so much more than we give them credit for. So cooking is a huge one. In our house, they are responsible for getting themselves ready. It is not my job to pick out their clothes. It is not my job to get their pants on. It is not my job to heat up their breakfast. They are in charge of that all the way to getting their backpacks and getting out the door. They're often the ones actually that come and tell me, "Ma, it's time to go. Like, we got to go. I want to get to school." They're like their dad. They're early birds. They just want to be there early. But that's them. That is all them. They're also in charge of the cats, so water, food. Although now we got an auto food dispenser, so there's just monitor how much food is in there, I guess. Um, Laundry, they need to go put away their own stuff. They're not quite big enough. Our laundry's quite tall, so they're not able to like completely put it in. So they get it out. Everything is ready for me to put into the laundry. I dump it in, and then they you know, afterwards they take it all out from the dryer, get the stuff sorted. By the way, the laundry, I don't care if they fold it. I don't care how they put it away. It just needs to get put away. They do it differently from me. I have let that go as long as it is out of the basket and hamper and all that stuff.
I love
That's a
that,
win.
I love that. How did you
That's
let it
a
go? Like, I
win.
feel like I
So
feel
those
like
are
I
some
would
of
I would be
the
like, "Oh, but you're not doing that right." Like, I the micromanaging, that's something I totally struggle with. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I know my kids are smaller than your kids, but, not by a lot. But there is a seismic switch once they go from, like, 4 and 6 to, like,
yeah.
older, right? How old are your kids?
9/11.
9 and 11. Okay, yeah, it's that 3 years and then a little bit yeah,
Yeah,
5 years, yeah.
I mean, it was
Uh,
one of those things of really, am I gonna pick this battle? Is this really worth my time?
Right.
And if it is put away, and
Choose
if
those.
you wear wrinkly clothes and you don't care, you know what? Do your thing. Someday you're probably going to care and be like, "Hey mom, can I get that like really expensive shirt?" Today's not that day. And if you want to wear mismatching stuff, that's not me. That's cool. That's you. You know, I will focus on what I can control. I'm not going to fight this battle. That's where I go. But there's other things that I want them to learn. Of when they put away their dishes, they're responsible for putting away their dishes, at least their own, into the dishwasher. But we've had to have the conversation of, hey, if you see someone else's and they forgot, you can just do that for them. Be a kind person and do them a favor. Maybe they'll do stuff for you next time. And even if it's not like reciprocal, it's just nice to do something nice for everyone else. I've also blown up at them in not a nice way where I'm like, do you know how much we do? You could at least put away someone else's dish. So I am not perfect. Not that anybody thought I was, but I go make the amends later of, sorry, that was not how I wanted to show
You
up.
are.
That was not what I wanted to model because our children, like we said earlier, are picking up everything and they mirror things. And that is not something I want them to mirror. Apologizing is not a skill that everybody has. So we model things for them, whether we know we are or not. And so if we can course correct ourselves as we go, that is a huge thing we can teach them too. And if they can be boys that apologize and own up to their mistakes and say, "Nope, you're right. My bad. I'll fix it." I've done something right.
That's awesome. Yeah. I know, right? Like, it's like in the little moments and the things that they do that you're like, "Ah, I did do something right." Like my son was, I don't even know, I think we were probably at a birthday party, because that's our weekends, because that's the season of life that I am in. I call this season the birthday
Party
party
number
season,
3, not number 4,
because I
right? Because you
feel
said
like,
no to 4.
right, I said no. I did. Did I tell you about how my girlfriend that says yes to every party, she said yes to someone in front of me that I had already said no to because we were going to a different birthday party, and then I had to go also? That happened. Uh-huh. Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Mhm. I know, right? Like, and she's totally gonna know I'm talking about her, and I love her very, very dearly, but I was like "You're my yes queen, and I know that anything I ask you to do with me, you will say yes to. However, in this moment, I really just needed you to be like, 'Oh, yeah, we can't.'" She did not.
And don't speak
Mhm.
for both of us.
Anyway,
Maybe you
mhm.
are
I
going,
digress.
but I am not.
Oh, I was like, "Oh, man." No, that happened. Wait, did I ever tell you the story? We've been talking a lot about kitchens and the story about how I didn't know how to cut a tomato. Did I tell you that story? Okay, this is a good one, and I think that everybody listening will appreciate this because this is why I put my children in the kitchen so that they can learn things, whether it's with me or with someone else. Like, I want them in the kitchen and doing the things because it's important, right? I'm not coming with you to college. Like, I'm not. And I'm also not going to be home all the time. So, like, you need to learn these things even though you are 4 and 6. So, it was Passover one year. I was at my aunt's house, and she needed me to cut a tomato for dinner. I think it might have been Thanksgiving. Whatever, doesn't matter. Not important in the story context. So she gives me the tomato. I get the cutting board out. I get the knife. She's like, "That's not the right knife. You need this knife." Okay. And then I go to start to cut the tomato, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Cutting a tomato." She's like, "Have you ever cut a tomato before?" And I was like, "No. No, I have not ever cut a tomato before. I don't like tomatoes. I don't eat tomatoes. I don't know how to cut a tomato. It's not something that I use in my house. So, no, I don't know how." And she was like, "How are you in your 20s and don't know how to cut a tomato?" And I was like, "At home training? I don't know. I don't know." I'm like, "We didn't have home ec class. We didn't learn these things. Like, I literally have never cut a tomato." So I was probably like 21, 22 at the time, and my aunt taught me how to cut a tomato and then me and my cousins all got brought into the kitchen at the same time because there are quite a few of us that are very similarly aged. And my aunt was like, "We are going to do how to cut a tomato." And my cousins were like, "We know." She's like, "No, no. we're all doing this. We are all doing how to cut a tomato. And I don't know if she knows that that moment in time is so impactful for me because it was like, yeah, I lived like 21 years without knowing how to cut a tomato because it wasn't part of my life. But that doesn't mean other people around me could not benefit from me cutting a tomato. So it's those little moments that you learn these things and you're like,
And it's
oh,
never too late to
that makes
learn.
sense?
Never too late.
Exactly. That is correct. Yes. Never too late to learn. I am not the best chef, but I try to learn new skills. Not something I'm great at, but
Being coachable
I
is
try
a huge,
really
huge skill. Mhm.
exactly, exactly, exactly. So tonight I'm going to sit both my children down and cut tomatoes with them because we just now had this conversation and I feel like you're never too young
You're
to
never
cut a
too
tomato,
young, you're
right?
never too
I
old, you
mean,
can
like for
always learn. And, I was in the same boat with
you
your mentality of, like, I am not going to be that mom that has a child that does not know how to cook anything, do their laundry, do whatever in college. That is not gonna be my kid. So,
No, no, no. They need those skills. It's like
absolutely.
it's literally like I said, we need to make a course that's like how to be an adult, right? Like all of the things that school does not teach you that you need to learn, right? Like cooking, cleaning, the right cleaning products, right? Because there's 4,000 cleaning products when you go down the aisle in the grocery store and you're like, I nope. Mhm.
You know what that reminds
Right? Like that's
Yeah.
an important skill. How to
Yeah. Labels are a thing that we've talked about a lot, like food
right?
labels,
That's a
because
good
you're like,
one.
"Oh,
Like
well, food labels, prices, they're like, "Oh, why don't we just buy that thing?" I'm like, "Okay, do you even know how much things cost or, like everything has just been provided to you? Let's talk about this. How do we do these things?" And it's actually been a great conversation. And as we give them these skills, it's not just about equipping them for the future, but I've seen their confidence skyrocket when they know they can cook something and they're like, "Ooh, I'm going to make this thing for us tonight." Like their faces light up. And when they hear that other kids don't know how to do, like, even using a chef's knife, right? A lot of kids don't know how to do it. And they're like, "Oh, I can do that." Like, it's just a confidence booster that I am so excited to give them, and when they can take care of their own stuff, pack their own lunch, like all this stuff, and it takes so much time off of my plate because I don't have to worry about it. I can trust them to do it. They know I trust them to do it. I think when they feel entrusted by adults, it is a huge, huge boost for them. And it also makes them want to do more stuff, which is good, right? Because again, that takes more stuff off our plates, gives us back time to do the other things that we are good at, and we don't need to be the task person in everything. So it pays back in so many ways.
I love that. It's so true. It's so true. You're really like empowering them and motivating them to want to do it, right? Because they're like, "Oh, mommy's teaching me this and it's a fun thing to do and I have pride in doing it myself, right? Like I can cook that or I can chop that or I can do that, and that's a huge thing. I mean, my neighbor's son who lives across the street, he brought over one morning, like he brought over pancakes that he made, and he was so excited. And so, of course, I ate the half cooked pancake and I was like, oh, this is the best pancake I ever made. But it's like in those little moments, that's all he wanted, right? He just wanted someone to say, oh my God, this is the most amazing pancake. Thank you so much. And it's like when I say that out loud right now, like I sound like I was just like, I was just saying it to say it. But like, no, like it's really like a motivation, right? Like it's one of those things to like give them pride in what they're doing. And, it's just, I love that. Like I love it so much. And food is such a love language too, that it's like, it's you're making something, you always put a little bit of love in whatever you're making. And it doesn't matter if it's the burnt chicken that I made my husband the other night, like, it's made with a little bit of love and he will eat the driest chicken and tell me it's wonderful because, he knows that that's my love language also. So,
And we
I
all
mean,
make
it's the ebb
mistakes,
and flow.
right? And I feel like this is another great
Right.
conversation starter with my kids of, look, mom makes mistakes too, dad makes mistakes too. All adults make mistakes. That's how we learn. We tell you that. we also need to give ourselves that same grace because we tell our kids that, and then when we make mistakes, we're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm the dumbest person ever." So I have to remind myself the things I tell my kids, I should tell myself too. But sometimes the mistakes are the
I
funny
love that.
things that we remember too, you know? And it is what it is. But even
Right? No, I love that you have to tell yourself the things that you tell your kids. That's huge because there's so much of the day that like, like I'll tell my daughter she wants to change 8 times before we go out the door, and like I get it. Like she wants to feel good and look good and I mean I get it. She's only 4, but like still there were 4 princess dresses that did not get worn today that it was something else that she wore, which like okay, cool. But it's reminding yourself that like, and I say this to her all the time. I'm like, beauty's on the inside, sweetie. Like you can wear a paper bag and you are still beautiful, but it's like one of those things that like I actually have to tell myself sometime because I'm like, ugh, I'm gonna be on camera. I gotta figure out what I'm doing, what am I wearing? Like, and it's like, yeah. It's one of those things like you just have to remind yourself. And it's I love that because it's like even the small things that we tell our kids, like, sometimes I wish I could record things that I say in my house because I was like, huh, I never thought of it that way. Or if my son literally, my 6-year old, and you'll appreciate this, Amy, he literally, like, I did something and I was like, oh man, like, he's like, what happened, mommy? And I told him, and he was like, it's okay, mommy. It's okay. And I was like, did good,
yeah,
did good.
we're doing something
Like,
right.
come
We're
on,
doing
like that,
something right. Mhm.
right?
The fact that he even came over and
Anytime,
asked, "Are
anytime.
you
It's like
okay?" or, "What's wrong?" That's an empathetic
right.
child right there.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I did that. We
Sure
did
did.
that. Yes, we did. Sure did. Yes, we did. I feel like, like, when Tom Cruise jumped on Oprah's couch, that's how I feel right now, like, "We did that. We did a thing." So, we have covered so much today, but I know you and I have talked a little bit about micro practices that moms can try, right? So we've talked about regulating our nervous systems and, how we do that ourselves and taking the breath or while we're folding laundry. What are some of your favorite micro practices that moms can try to really help themselves kind of navigate the ebbs and flows that we constantly go through as moms?
Oh, and I think it goes back to there's no one size fits all thing, right? So trial and error is how I've come to figure out some of the things that I really like doing for myself. And so I hope people that are listening have also tried some practices as well. But things that have really worked for me, movement is a huge thing in my life, whether it's Zumba, I love dance workouts. I love sports, but I do not like running just for the sake of running. I will run in sports. I will do other things, but know your thing. Know what you like, know what you don't like. I love going to yoga at lunchtime, like especially on a busy day. I know it's really hard to rip yourself away, but I have found myself to be a lot more productive when I take that time away, focus on that one thing, get away from the multitasking that we do as moms, especially working moms, and allow ourselves to slow down for a bit. There's also a huge discussion about gratitude in society now, right? And whether it is getting that nice cup of tea or coffee, whatever is your drink of choice, and savoring it before you start your day, taking a walk around the block with the sun hitting your face, whatever it might be that just rejuvenates you and brings you back to a grounded point. I think we just need to take more moments of that because it could be as quick as a minute to do these things, but it serves us through the whole day, our week, especially if we're busy. We really need to do these things and prevent that crash and burn that we will get to if we don't let ourselves take these small steps throughout our days.
Exactly, I love that, and it's really, like, it could be as micro as taking a step outside, like, you don't even have to go for a walk, like, just go outside and take a
Stretch,
breath
do something,
because,
yeah.
right, exactly, I built a bench in my backyard, like a little swing bench thing, anyway, and every day I tell my kids, I'm like, "I need my mommy needs her 5 minutes outside," and I swing on the swing, and I'm just like Like whether a kid joins me or a kid doesn't join me, that's okay. I just need to be outside in nature, and which I'm like the least nature person you'll ever meet in your life, but like that's where I find gratitude, right? Where I'm just like thankful for where I am in life, thankful for my family, my
Mhm.
kids, and sometimes mommy just needs a minute. Mommy needs literally a minute. How many times have I just walked out the door in my office just to
Yeah.
get some sunlight?
And you know what? You bring up a
Minute.
great point that we haven't really talked about. Well, we talked about modeling, but when we can say, hey, kids, mommy needs time for this thing. And I have done this with my kids where it's like, guys, I have to really get this thing done so that I can be present with you. And setting those boundaries is actually really good for them to see too, that they don't have to say yes to everything, that they can set their own boundaries to say, hey, I need my space, I need my own personal time. And I've seen the sibling rivalry hit when like they've been with each other too long, right? So if we can give them the skills and model it to say, it's okay to take time for yourself, it's actually really healthy to do so, I think that's a huge benefit for them too.
I love that. That's huge. Setting boundaries and time for yourself are I honestly, that's the biggest takeaway, right? Like, it's so important for them, and no, I totally agree. Um, what's that
Sorry, that noise is my garage.
you're
My mom went to go pick up
oh,
my
okay,
children.
okay, that's fine.
I was wondering, I was like, did she
Got it,
hear
got it.
that?
I really wasn't sure. Yes, no, I heard it, I was just like, "I don't know what's going on right now."
It's gonna
Uh,
close again in a
totally
second, so I
fine.
don't know if we wanna wait, but
I'm like, "I'll close us out maybe after we hear it, or should I just attempt to close us out and then" No, but that was a really good point, like the boundaries and taking a minute. I think those are really huge things. Brooks actually, he had all of his friends over. I kid you not, there were 8 boys in my house, and he was like he literally looked at them all and was like, "I need 5 minutes." I've never been prouder of my child in my life. I was like, "Yes, Brooks." Like, I mean, not for nothing, they were all screaming and, like, yelling at each other back and forth, and he was like, "Guys, I need
ask
5
for what you
minutes." I
need.
was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
right." He went upstairs, he went to his room, I think he changed, he took a 5-minute break and then, like, came back downstairs and was, like, ready to go. I was like, "Yes, buddy. Yes." No, I love it. Well, Amy, I just need to say, like, this has been a true pleasure. I'm 99% sure Amy and I are coming out with our own podcast.
Well, wait, well, sorry.
So Amy and I are totally gonna come out with our own podcast, bi-coastal buddies. I liked it. I thought it was cute. I don't know. We're still workshopping the name,
We got time.
but hopefully we'll get it. We'll get it eventually. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We got time. We got time. She has a summit coming up. The whole
Wellness
wellness
Summit.
mama. Nope. Whole wellness.
Whole Wellness
Whole
Mama
wellness
Summit.
summit. Excuse me. There you go. Okay. Amy has a summit coming up, the whole Wellness Mama Summit. So definitely go check that out. Amy, you want to give a little snippet of where they can find more information
Sure,
about
it's the
that?
wholewellnessmamas.com. If you go there, you're gonna see it. You'll see it all over my pages, where I'm at Whole Wellness Mamas at Instagram, TikTok. My YouTube channel is This Japanese American Life, where you can get like the preview into some of the speakers. It's all on there. You can't miss it if you find me on wholewellnessmamas.com. I think you're gonna have the link below also. So, you can find it in
Yes,
all
I
kinds of
will.
places.
Of course
Yeah,
you will.
and if you don't see it, come
Yes,
message me and
exactly. You
tell
can
me
go
that
on
you don't
all
see it because we'd love to have you, and it's gonna be amazing. And One Thrive is giving away boards,
yes.
so come get your free boards, enhance your life by making some changes, listening to amazing speakers. There's like 30 plus speakers talking about all kinds of wellness aspects of life, so there's something for everyone.
Exactly, and it's so important that we take care of ourselves, our bodies, our minds, our everything because we're only giving this one life. Really. Let's be real. So live it fully, right? And keep thriving, mamas. So Amy, I just need to thank you so much for being on today. It was truly wonderful. I really feel like I'm talking to my bestie like in my kitchen. So I'm sorry if you all feel like we went on too many tangents, but hopefully you still love us. And thanks again, Amy. You are wonderful. Whole Wellness Mama Summit. Join us.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
having
Keep
me.
thriving, mamas. Of course, my pleasure. Keep thriving, and we will see you all next time. Bye now.